I was in my room. I've been through a lot of different quakes before, and when this one started, I kind of took it just like I took a lot of the others before. I said, let me see what's going to happen. It continued to build with some intensity, and I figured, let me go downstairs and see what every see how it's going to be. And by the time I got down to the street, it was shaking. It was shaking pretty good, and I heard people move. People were moving around. I heard people talking, and I was on where I live. I was there's a small side street. I was standing between my building and another building, a moving company, and I said, "Well, let me move from between these two buildings." And I stepped out into the street, into traffic. Traffic had stopped anyway, and I was out there in traffic, and then that's when it really started. It really started going. I mean, it became surreal after that. Um, it seemed like all sounds stopped, but at the same time, it was the loudest sounds I had ever heard. I mean, the shutters shaking, uh, glass shaking, doors shake. You could hear doors banging. I saw things falling off of people's balconies and breaking. It was like a scene that I had seen on so many news reports from disasters that went on. Maybe people took them with their cell phones or whatever. A camera happened to catch something, and it became like that. And I kind of, I mean, after I saw things moving, buildings moving, and the wires and whatnot moving, and poles moving, I just knew it was over. I looked. The only thing I did after that was looked at my feet, waiting for the ground to open up. And I tell you, it was like it was just probably the most incredible thing I've ever been through.
What was the
Just
damage like? I mean, structural damage to buildings in you're in Tokyo, which is like probably what 600 miles away from the
at least
epicenter.
I'd say the relationship is probably from the center of the earthquake to where I'm at is probably like from LA to San Francisco. You wouldn't have known it looking at the scene, being in the scene at the time, though. I would have thought it was a lot closer. Now, I actually thought it was Tokyo's big one. That's how surreal it became.
So wow, as it stands now, you got the tsunamis going on out there, brother, man, and I just know that there's a whole bunch of people out there that got love for Curtis Harmon here in the states, and
Well,
they
I
just want
love
to
them
they just want to
all.
hear
I
from you,
love them
man.
all. I love you all. I appreciate all the messages and calls and everything, and I just want everyone to know that I'm fine. It was tremors all night long. I mean, was waking up every few minutes. The room was swaying and whatnot. But after a while, I mean, I just nodded off, and I'm just glad everything here is fine. Um, as one story that I wanted to relay, I tell you, I was out there in the street shaking. I was standing there in my bathrobe and slippers in oncoming traffic, which had stopped moving. And there was an elderly lady that was she looked to be about 90. She had a humpback and a cane. And she looked at me and smiled and muttered something in Japanese like, wow, this is really something, isn't it? And I tell you, everything else around me seemed to be in black and white, and she seemed to glow. And then to tell you the truth, uh, everything else seemed frozen, and she just kept moving. She never stopped walking. It
Wow,
was incredible. Prettiest smile I ever saw.
man, that's incredible stuff, man. You know what? I just want to make sure that everybody here that knows you, which L.A., New York, all over the United States, we got love for Curtis, man. I just want everybody to know that you're cool, man. So I'm gonna put this up on the Facebook, and
I love you, Jeff. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, brother. I always have, always will, and everyone. I really do.
hey man, will you take care of yourself, man, and I tell you what you might want to do. You might want to get yourself a new clean robe and some brand new slippers. Cause I don't want these pictures of you surfacing on
Yeah,
CNN.
my mother. I just talked to my mother about a week ago, and I had her on my webcam. Well, I was on my webcam to her, and she said that's the first thing she did was got on me about this robe, and I said I knew I should have left my camera off. I love you, Mom. You were right.